Hey, welcome back to my garage. I'm OK Fixer, and this is going to be part 5 of the single port 69 VW engine build. And I got into this engine, and I had a couple of people comment on it. And one of the comments was, you need to fix that stud in the oil drain deal. Well, why do I need to do that for? Okay, let me explain something to you. This is magnesium, archaic magnesium, all right? It's really old. And over the course of 3 or 4 more oil changes, taking this out and putting it in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, it's going to really stress out that hole right there for those Canadians who are listening. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some red thread locker and clean that up with some brake clean, and we're going to lock that in there. And 2 other things that came to me also didn't come to me from viewers, and that is train. For your listening pleasure, I did not put a washer on that gland nut, and someone shouted out, "Hey, you need to put the washer on that gland nut." And man, I appreciate that. For all you people who are listening, I do appreciate the comments, and it's a great way to build an engine, is to do a little bit on it and wait for the professionals to stick their opinions in there, because it's a good way. You can always back up a little bit. You don't have the whole damn thing finished. Okay, also under the flywheel, I was told that O-ring should be sealed in there. That is, I should put some gasket gunk in there and put the O-ring in there and then oil it up and put it on there. And that way the O-ring can't leak underneath the flywheel. It only has one seal to leak. See, it's kind of like the flywheel seal. When I put some gasket stuff around there and drove it in there, the only place it could leak is between the crank and the seal. It can't leak between the block and the seal. It's kind of like doing a rubber set windshield. You have to seal between the gasket and the body and between the gasket and the glass, because there's 2 gaps there. Alright, enough jacking. So I'm going to take that out and fix it. I already took it out, but how am I going to get that out of there without boogering the threads up? Well, let me show you. Train. Now you got a nut with a stud, or a stud with a nut stuck on it. Okay, at least we have them cracked loose. What I'm going to do now is this. I've cleaned this off with brake clean. I'm going to put my acorn nut on. Oops. Run that in and out of there a couple of times and get that stuff all up in those threads really well. You can feel this underneath here. Yep. I'm going to let that set up for a little bit, and then I'm going to assemble my screen and plate, and then we'll take the flywheel off, but this has got to go up on the table first. I packed some sealant up into that after I cleaned it out and cleaned my O-ring. Now I'm just kind of wiping away the excess. I'll put my seal back up in there now. Okay, there you go. Now I'm going to let that tack up a little bit, and then I'll oil everything back up and put it back together with my washer on my gland nut this time, hey? Glad I looked. Double check both your clips. Now let's do the other three. Now let's do the other three. Have another look at it. You got number 3 on number 3, right? You got number 4 on number 4, right? You got the arrows and they're pointing towards the flywheel, right? Okay. Does everything turn? Is it smooth? Is it scraping in there or leaving any marks in there? Or is it smooth? You want it smooth. No, it's going to be a little tight. But you don't want any scraping in there. Have a look in there and make sure you don't have a ring twisted, an oil ring twisted, something broken in there, something like that. Scraping it up, because as soon as you start it, your engine's done. So if everything's okay, go to the next side, do the same thing. Okay, after you get your cylinders on, you can put your deflector tins in. Now this is an aftermarket one. Okay, and this is the factory one. This one's nice and pretty and shiny and it's got a label on it. And this one's beat all to hell and it looks like dick, right? Okay, wait a second. Let me show you something, okay? I can't get it to clip. Okay, the only ones that'll clip is these ones up here. Okay, yeah, there you go. That's where that belongs. Now, this is an original one. They look the same. They're bent the same. They're made the same. They're the same thickness, same everything. Huh, look at this. Oh, gee. Oh, it clips in place. Don't use those aftermarket pieces of crap, okay? No matter what yours look like, just use the original ones and everything will be fine. You start using that aftermarket stuff, I swear to you, it looks the same, but it just freaking doesn't work. And hateful stuff like that just makes an engine build. It's not fun. It just isn't fun. This is supposed to be fun and relaxing and enjoyable and stuff. It's not supposed to be a fist fight. If everything is a fist fight, what good is that? Okay, we're going to do the other side also. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to screw some spark plugs in those holes, and two reasons why. One is you can watch the other side of it and you can see the Healy coil walk in and out of it, and in that case you need to get that fixed before you put the cylinder head on, because once it's in or on and in the car, it's going to be some kind of special to fix it. So anyways, I'm going to use a little anti-seize. And I'm using NGK B5HS. And now the B5, they make a BR5 HS, but that's a resistor plug, and I've already explained to you about resistors. So I really don't want resistors. I have a point ignition, and I have resistor ends, 1000 ohm resistor ends. So that looks like it's okay. The helicoil in there didn't walk, so we're going to do this to all of them. Now the second reason is, and you tighten it down too. The second reason is when you get this engine all together right, and then you drop a screw down that hole. You're getting where I'm going. Okay. Okay, I'm going to paint a little sealant on all these and on the block, and then I'm going to do this. And that should be enough to spring that enough, and then when it collapses, it'll squeeze enough. You don't have to bring them out a million miles. And then you put some sealant on either side, and put your deal on there. They're a little dirty, but they'll be okay. And then I'm going to put sealant around here, sealant around that. I'm not going to leave an orifice open that's not sealed. Now when I'm going to put my push rods on, I'm going to put them on so the seam is pointing up. It's just me, because oil runs downhill, and they were rolled like this and then electronically welded. Well, if there's a break in that weld, which there isn't, it's not going to leak, if that makes sense to you. 3, 3. There is voter fraud right now going on in Minnesota. It has been going on for a long time. But they have a video. They have a video of this gentleman who's been harvesting votes for. He's the brother-in-law to some city councilman, but it all has to do with Ilhan Omar and getting her reelected, essentially, up in Minnesota. Now, you're not going to find that in the Republican Party, okay? You're not going to find that in the Republican Party. You're not going to find that crap going on. Because the Republicans don't do that stuff. They believe in a fair election. I can't put it any stronger than that. Let me tell you something. There's two parties. There's two parties running. And the two parties that are running are either the Democrats or the Republicans. Now, the Republicans are, let me say something. The Democrats are the ones that are burning down the cities, are rioting. They are the BLM. They are the Antifa. They are the anti-American. They are the transgender. They are the anti-family. They are the anti-God faction in this country. Okay? Well, how can you possibly say that, Dan? Well, it's simple. They're not voting for Trump. There's two people running. You know, they're not voting for Trump. So don't tell me they're Republicans, because they're not. There's two of them. Now, it's always been my contention that the Republicans were for the rich people. And that might be true. But the Democrats are for burning your freaking house down in your and you know, you have to bow to them, kind of a thing. That's brown shirt stuff, you know. That's yeah, that's a bad deal. So I don't know how to put it any better. If you're a Democrat, the Democratic Party now is not the party of JFK. It is not the party of those people. The Democratic Party now is the socialist left. And they are, or they want to, change everything in this country that we know as America. So you might want to think about that. Okay, let's put some bolts on that. Don't forget your washers. Hand start your nuts. Ooh, mosquitoes. I need to put some mosquito spray on. I'll start the center ones first, and then kind of tighten up the sides. This is like maybe 10 pounds, so not a lot. If that. While I'm in here, I'll put these washers on so I don't forget. And I found this washer also. You know what it goes to. We'll put that on. That on the distributor. Forgot about that. Or we'll have a Marcy mobile. She had a dual port in her bus that was puking oil out the distributor. I couldn't believe it, but it did. So I was watching one of her videos. Okay, well, we're going to do the other side, and then we'll torque them. Now, make sure your seams are up on your push rods. If they're not, you can turn them, or you don't have to. Make sure these aren't cocked in here wacky, like turned way crazy, because they'll turn way crazy if you let them. And then your push rods will rub on it, so you don't want that to happen. You want everything to look reasonable. And your O-rings there. Okay, we're walking right along. We'll do the other side, and then we'll do some torquing. Everything go on okay? There's nothing askew or anything like that? Then we can torque. Okay, we're going to torque like this. We're going to torque at 7 pounds. This way. I keep doing that. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to do that to you. Okay, we started here. I'm going to go up on this one here. That's awful tight. Let's crack these off a little bit. Reset that. Now, is that right? One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Okay. All right. That's the way it's done the first time at 7 pounds. I'll show you what you're going to do next. Okay, at 23 pounds now, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, sometimes they creep. They're not tight. You got to do it 2 or 3 times, or you should. Until they stop creeping. All right, now let's do the other side. Then we're going to start at 1. I've changed the O-ring on my distributor, and I glued the stud in the head there that it pulled out. Again, it's the same kind of situation. You much rather take that off of a metal or steel than to be running that in and out of the aluminum. We have it on TDC, and we know because our mark is up and our distributor is pointing to number 1. So this cam lobe should be off on number 1. So we'll be able to set the valves. You want to make sure that you can blow through these. Put your push rods in. Okay, you got your head bolts all torqued. We got some studs here that have come up quite a ways. So I'm going to have to look at those in relation to, because I've got them in there pretty tight. So I'm going to have to look at the relation of how the rocker fits on here and make sure the rocker doesn't rub on these studs. Got our O-rings on. Okay, here's our rocker. It's not the cleanest thing in the world, but it's going to work. The slots go up. It looks like if we bolt those in place, our studs are going to miss the rocker by 3/8 of an inch. So we should be fine. Make sure those are all engaged. Don't forget your warpy washers. Now, I don't know if I took this off of one side or the other. So, before I bolt it down tight, never can find what you're looking for, you know. I'm going to loosen these up, back them off. And that way we don't have any crazy binding or anything nutty. Okay, how many foot-pounds? 14, right? Okay, so we'll put 14 foot-pounds on those. and then we'll put the other side on, and then I want to rotate it one full turn, and that'll make things work a little bit, and then we'll set the valves. 18 on these, 14 on the crankcase nuts, but same nut, but 18 on these. Okay. Now I'm going to roll the engine over. Now this is going to be hard, and there's a reason for it, because I got spark plugs in it, and there's compression. 180. We're back. Now we're 180 out. Come on up on 270. And we're going to come back to number 1. Now remember our mark, 7.5, but we want it at 0. And now we will set the valves on number 1. Okay, I'm going to do this as a go, no-go, and ideally I want 6 thousandths, okay? So if 6 goes in there, but 8 does not, that's pretty much what you want. This will be the easiest time you'll ever adjust your valves. What is this, a 12? Oh, it's just that nut is just so pounded. Can't get it on there. I like that. Okay, now we're going to roll the engine over 180 degrees, and we're going to do, what's the firing order? 1, 4, 3, 2. So we're going to turn it over 180 degrees, and we'll do number 4. Okay, your distributor's on number 4, so we know we'll adjust number 4. Okay, so then we're going to rotate her again, and we're going to put her on number 3. Now I'm going to watch our mark here. We're going to line our mark up with a case. Distributor is on number 3, and this is the one we're going to adjust. We're going to do this one, we're going to roll it 180 degrees again, and do number 2. Then we're going to roll it around a couple of times, and we're going to check each one and see if they're correct. Back to 0. Okay, next thing you can do is you can put your valve cover on. What I've done is glued a little silicone on it. Now you can use case sealant if you want, that works. They make some really trick valve covers that are made out of silicone, like my oil strainer gaskets, and they work pretty good. But you put a little, I put a little grease around them like this if you're using a quart gasket. And grease. Oh, my finger! Just joking. There you go. Well, there you are. There's our short block. And there's video 5 in the can. I am going to clean that off, and I'm going to run it up underneath there for the rest of the build, because as I add weight to it, essentially I can use that, just kind of put it up underneath there a little bit, and what that will do is it will help support it, because I really don't trust my booger welds on that on that deal. They probably will work. They're probably better than the Chinese ones, but it's, you know, I'm not a professional welder, so it's a lot of money right there, for me anyways. So you know, to have it supported underneath, that's my idea. That's what I should have. And I have the chassis in the garage, so I'm going to avoid the rain, and the next couple of days I should get this thing finished, get it in the chassis, and I should be able to make it run. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching with me. Thank you for taking the time and being patient, and good things come from those for those who wait. So have a great day. I know I will, because this is done. All right, see you guys later. Bye.